I just kind of looking at the last two games, you guys have been able to, find a groove in the second half, but it seems, and Sean would refer to it as finding a rhythm in the first. Um, I guess the question is, from where you sit, what more can you do in terms of scheme, in terms of calling plays? I mean, to what degree do you hold yourself accountable for that and needing to find an answer offensively earlier in these games?
Well, obviously I'm the offensive coordinator, so I think I look at it as it's something that I've got to make sure that I'm putting my guys in the right position to be successful in the first half. And we talked about at halftime. We just come out and execute. It comes down to our execution and and what we do. And when we focus on us, usually then everything else kind of takes care of itself. So obviously that starts with me, making sure that we're getting off to the starts we need. And I felt like, at times there we were starting to get into a rhythm and get into a flow and get driving. We just couldn't sustain it and had some turnovers and those types of things. So I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, there's a lot of good on there. We just got to sustain, and again, I think that's something that we're going to obviously continue to focus on.
Just one follow up to that: is there anything that opposing coordinators are doing from a defensive standpoint that you maybe have been slow to react to or diagnose?
No, I think every week is very different. Every game takes on a different personality. Whether it's some teams want to pressure you, some teams want to play a soft zone. Some teams want to play man, some teams want to mix it up. So again, for us, it's having that confidence in what we're calling and what we're running, that we could go out and execute versus whatever we're seeing. And no matter what a defense decides to do against us, we can go out and feel confident in what we're doing.
Thank you, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach Dorsey. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How are you doing this afternoon?
All right, how are you, George?
Great, doing great. Questions for you. One, what happened to the two tight end set? I didn't seem to see that a lot last night. Looked like Dawson Knox and Quentin Morris could have ran that sufficiently, and Quentin Morris ended up catching a touchdown pass late in the game. I was just wondering what happened to the two tight end set, and also Josh Allen taking what the defense gives him. Look, he was in shotgun with hardly no running back in the back, empty back. I just wondering what happened to the things that got you the early success with the offense.
Yeah, I think obviously with Dalton down and having the two tight ends up, we tried to mix it in, but tried to be kind of smart on how we were using our personnel right there. But obviously looking at it, it's something that we'll definitely look at and make sure. Again, to your point, it's something that's been successful for us. So make sure we're not losing that, no matter what the situation is. So I think that's something we'll continue to focus on to make sure we're balancing our personnel and how we're using it and how we're attacking a defense. And and then from Josh's regard, I think there was definitely some decisions there that were good. We were taking some opportunities downfield and making some throws, and then obviously there's some stuff we could learn from, and it's good tape to look at. It's always good when you can go back and look at a tape from a win and have a lot to correct. And I think that's something that whether it's Josh, myself, or anybody on this offense, that we could take a lot away from this game to learn from and really kind of use that moving forward.
All right, one last question. One thing I noticed, a common theme in the Giants locker room last night, guys were saying, I asked them about they said what they saw on film is what they saw in the game. They weren't, no surprises, no nothing. They said, this is what you see on film is exactly what the Bills were during the game. Is any chance of coming up with some surprise, some draws, screens, or something to do some surprises to look different than what you look like on film?
I definitely think we always look at how we want to attack a defense and different ways to do that. So it's definitely something we'll look at and make sure that we're keeping a defensive off balance by, things that we're doing. At the same time, you want to make sure you're doing stuff that your guys can go out and execute and against a bunch of different looks that you're going to see. So I think there's definitely a balance there of, having your core, but at the same time having some different wrinkles to keep a defense off balance. Yes.
All right, and one quickly, I just thought of it. One last thing. Now you're gearing up for the Patriots, obviously on Sunday. Then you got a quick turnaround. So you're going to also be working on the Tampa Bay game, which will be next Thursday night as well this week.
Yeah, I mean that's something that right now we're just so focused on New England. It's day one of the prep, so we're focused on them right now, and then we'll cross that bridge as we get down the week and into next week.
All right, thank you for your time, Coach. Good luck this coming Sunday.
Thank you.
Hey Ken, Josh Reed here. A question for you. What advantage do you feel like you guys have offensively by going from the shotgun down near the goal line?
Yeah, I thought for us that's a play that we've had success with over the past few years. We've scored a few times on it. Whether it was from a pistol where he could go straight downhill, and hit it fast, or from offset, the offset eye. So it's something that we've had some success with, so that way now we can also hit it downhill and get downhill in a hurry out of that personnel group to where we're not in heavier people. So that was something that we've done in the past that we've had some success with, but obviously didn't last night, and something we'll look at going forward to make sure that we're doing the right things down there when we're inside the 1 yard line.
Any notable kind of, I don't know if disadvantage is the right word, having to go against Brian Dable when he's so familiar with basically everything that you guys want to do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's familiarity there, but at the same time, there's no crutches or excuses or anything for when you're not, performing the way you want. So we just got to go out and give the guys the best plan possible and put them in the right positions to go out and execute.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Hey, Ken, talked a little bit about this with Sean, and I was curious, what have been the challenges of trying to find a consistent third presence in the offense from a playmaking perspective, particularly in the passing game? You have Diggs, who has had this unbelievable start to the season, and I think Gay's been really good as well.
Yes.
What's been the struggle of getting that third guy, whether it be Dalton or Deontay or Trent or whoever you kind of view in maybe that role?
Yeah, I think, we're rotating guys and some weeks, it's one guy, some weeks it's another guy. So, obviously I think we've got guys that all are, very good football players that can help us win games. And, you want to keep them all involved, and you want to make sure you've got things for each of them because they can all help you in their ways and in their roles. So I think there's definitely a fine line to walk there to make sure that we're utilizing as much of our personnel as humanly possible, but at the same time making sure we've got guys in out there who could kind of get in a rhythm and the flow of the game. So I think that's a definitely a balance that we have to continue to strike.
Obviously getting into the weeds with play calling is a dangerous game. You guys do a lot. But one play that particularly has been not very popular has been that second down shotgun draw run that hasn't had a lot of success through 6 games. I think it was Thurman Thomas who even mentioned something about it yesterday. Is that something, can you assess why that hasn't worked and why you kind of continue to keep going back to it?
Are you talking about just on the field or down the goal line?
I think it was on the field.
On the field. I think, let's see, I think the second down, I think is a situation where, if you get too lopsided in terms of, hey, we're strictly doing, strictly throwing the ball, then all of a sudden you start seeing a lot of those third down style defenses. So making sure that we have run game that strikes a balance to keep a defense honest, to make sure that we're not one dimensional in what we're doing is important. So sometimes you get in those situations where you want to show a passing formation and then run out of it. So a lot of times that would be a draw, or or something to invite the rush to then hit it downhill. We will mix in the gap schemes. We will mix in those types of things. You just want to make sure that you're mixing in runs in those situations that you like, in those, whether it's second and 1 to 6 range or second and 7+ ranges, based off of what you could potentially see from a defense, to make sure that guys are in position to have success.
Appreciate that.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay.
Coach Dorsey, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports Cincinnati. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yeah, Coach, just to go back off of what Josh was saying about just having that familiarity with Coach Daboll. Obviously, he, going to get your former coordinator who's now a head coach. And again, y'all do know a lot of each other, especially in situations. So, like, if you had to choose, which play would you rather have back yesterday?
I think when you look back at it, obviously, there's always some things that, you say, shoot, I wish, we had done that a little bit differently. I think, a couple of the, there's a couple plays in there where, you think about that. Obviously, the run down the low red zone there, and, from a execution standpoint, just taking the ball off the goal line, is that something, something that that's something we'll look at, again, making sure that, hey, are we doing the right things there? And again, I think, that looking back at it, I wish we had done something different, but again, that's a run we've executed well in the past too. So, at the end of the day, when I go back and I look at the game, there's a lot of things in that game that, yes, did not end up panning out. But in this league, that stuff happens because defenses are good. That's stuff that you go into the game and you feel really good about. But unfortunately, whether it's from an execution piece or from a, hey, they made a play piece, you've got to evaluate that. So, when I go back and look at it, I think, there's definite some things that you look at and you say, I like the play, but maybe not in this situation, or, I like something else here.
Absolutely, Coach. We know those are trials and tribulations when you're at war with, such a familiar foe, man. So those are some battles, and definitely are some battles. You got things going in the second half, and a few players were saying in the locker room how, getting away from the run in the first half, but going back to the run in the second half kind of got things back on track and it opened things up. Obviously, Josh was, 11 for 12, with 2 scores, and, the run game basically kept the sticks moving. Can you say that having that type of balance can be the new identity of this offense?
Well, I think, we're always trying to strike that balance to make sure, we're attacking a defense, the best way possible. So obviously, look, at the end of the day, we do have a lot of faith and we do believe in our run game, and it's the same thing in the pass game, and I think both can complement each other extremely well. And I think you've seen that throughout the year, hopefully, and I thought, yesterday was no different. I thought we got in a great groove in the first half on some drives running the football, and then some play actions off of that. So, I think it's something that we just got to continue to strike that balance of being able to be multiple and being able to attack a defense in different ways so that we're not predictable of, we're always running the ball in these situations or throwing the ball in these situations. And otherwise a defense can get a beat on you. So, for sure. I think that balance and that ability to strike that balance of run and pass is something that we'll always continue to strive for.
Respect your time, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey, Ken. Josh mentioned out of the shotgun near the goal line. not only under center, but is there any consideration using the quarterback sneak in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, that's something you always, you consider for sure. I think in that situation, we felt really comfortable about what we were running, something we've run in the past, but, sneaking the ball is, especially with Josh, who's had good success with it. And we've done in the past, whether it's down the goal line or out in the field, is a definite consideration in those situations. Yes.
Thanks. That's all I have.
Hey, Ken, Josh leads the NFL with 14 red zone touchdowns, and you guys are second in the NFL, scoring on 75% of your trips to the red zone. Why has this team been so successful when in the red zone this season? I mean, you had 2 trips last night, and they were big trips to the red zone. You scored on both of those.
Yeah, no, I think, at the end of the day, it's offensive football. It just really comes down to execution. I think guys they're locked in. They feel comfortable with what we're doing down there. And I think that's at the end of the day, kind of what it comes down to. We're executing well, and we did last night in those 2 trips, and we just got to continue to get down there more and more so that we have those opportunities to. So I think that's that. At the end of the day, we're balanced. We're doing a good job down there, I think, running it and throwing it. And that's helping us to make sure, again, that we're not coming one dimensional in terms of only throwing the ball in certain situations. So I think Coach Cromer's doing a great job with the run game down there. I think he's putting together a good plan for us there, and the whole staff as a group. And then through that, we're able to throw the ball with the weapons that we have.
Hey, Ken, Sean mentioned that this week, kind of looking at maybe what's contributing to the slower starts on offense the past couple weeks. I was curious, Josh only threw 1 incompletion in the second half. What do you think changed, or why do you think it took so long to kind of get Josh maybe going in that rhythm? Was there anything that stood out to you with that?
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like we were in a rhythm early in the game, to start the game. And we're doing some really good things, and then we lost it, when at times when you're in a rhythm but you're not scoring, that can be frustrating. And I think that's something that we just got to focus on as an offense. Hey, let's just take a breath and make sure, hey, we're focusing on this play, and it's all about execution. It's all about executing this play, every single play. And when we have that mindset and that focus, you start stringing things together, So I think just that mindset of going out with that just sole focus on executing every single play individually and not looking ahead or looking back is important. And then on the flip side of it, making sure that we're giving opportunities for Josh and our guys to attack the different levels of the field, whether it's short, intermediate, and deep, to make sure that we're not being one dimensional in what we're doing in the pass game.
Mentioning not looking too far ahead, or what's going on, kind of focusing on executing. Did you kind of notice a frustration in the first half from guys on the field? Was that something that you felt like guys were getting frustrated, or that kind of emotion from not executing as well as maybe you wanted to?
I think guys, I don't know if frustrated is the right word. I think guys just want to, everybody wants to contribute, and I think everybody, just when their number's called, they just want to make those plays, and so I don't think we were frustrated. I think we were more so, just wanting to do more, wanting to be that spark, and I think that's a good quality to have. But we just got to, again, continue to make sure that, hey, first and foremost, let's make sure we're focusing on our job, and whether it's a decision at quarterback or a route receiver, a block, whatever it is, our landmark on a run, just having those little detail things to make sure that. That we're all detailed in what we're doing and going in the right direction.
And then on a different note, Sean shared an update on Damien and said he's out of the hospital and at home. And I was just curious, obviously for you being up in the box and like not even being able to be, down on the field with all that's happening, just what was that like for you? And obviously hearing the positive news that he's, able to be at home and resting.
Yeah, I mean, you feel so helpless up there, obviously, and you're worried about your guys. And obviously Damon's such a great player for us and human being. And so it's hard to see something like that happen. So you feel very helpless and, you want to be down there with them, but they're just hard situations to be in.
Thanks.
Hey, Ken, John Worrell.
Hey, John.
I know everybody's talking about the inconsistencies and all that, but it's like I'm just looking at one play, and that is essentially actually it was after a play. I'm not sure if it's advisable for Josh Allen to go after a linebacker the way he did, but what does it do for a team? And it seemed like a spur of the moment type thing, but what does it do for a team when you see your quarterback lower his shoulder and just lower it into that linebacker's chest?
Well, I mean, Josh is a guy who I think we all know, like he wants to do everything humanly possible to help this team win, and he's done so much for this organization and this team, that just kind of embodies just, he wants to do everything in his power to help this football team win, whatever it is. And it's at times it's fighting and scrapping for an extra yard. At times it's, a throw. At times it's being a leader in the locker room. You know what I mean? So like, he embodies, I think, what this team wants to be all about. And that's doing everything humanly possible to help the team win. So I think that's something that just shows that the type of, player he is, the type of teammate he is, the type of person he is, that those things are what he does, and at the same time, it's that balancing act of making sure that we're being smart with our body and getting through a long season.
Whether he was smart or not, was it the right thing to do in your mind? And I mean, just given the situation in the moment.
Well, I think, in those situations, it's like you're fighting for every yard. And, I think, for him, when you're going laterally like they were and not going to take a huge hit on it, then, there's times where those things can happen and you can do those things. If you're two freight trains coming and colliding together, then it's like, hey, we're not doing that, and in those situations. So, I think again, it's something that we trust Josh in to make the right decisions. That when he's on the move, to do those things, to be smart with his body and be smart on when he's using his physicality and his size, and when he's getting down and protecting himself.
I guess, and sorry for this. Maybe I should have asked it this way: would you have been disappointed or surprised if he didn't do that?
I mean, surprised. Yeah. I mean, I think, he's the type of guy again that, that's who he is. And he's a competitor and I don't, that's something, you never are going to take out of him because that's the type of guy he is.